Hi friends, family. I am doing this video to give you my review on the movie Sound of Freedom. We saw the Sound of Freedom yesterday afternoon, and it is what I expected because I watched a lot of the previews, trailers, other interviews with Jim Caviezel, Tim Ballard, and the other actor and producer, I forget his name, but it was magnificent. It was absolutely magnificent. The acting, what is so special about Jim Caviezel is that he captures the heart of the person he's portraying very well. If you saw The Passion of the Christ, you could see that he captured the heart of God in his acting. You can see the heart of Yeshua in what Yeshua said, what he did, when he did it, who he was speaking to. Well, he captured Tim Ballard's heart, Tim Ballard is just absolute hero of today. Absolute hero. And seeing these people in our time walking the walk, talking the talk, is so important right now in our generation because that's so lacking. When you look left to your right, you're looking at people, your neighbor, who are maybe talking about Jesus, loving Jesus, or believing in Jesus, but they're not walking the walk, they're not talking the talk. So that really touched me to see Jim Caviezel really capture the heart of Tim Ballard. You know, the way he felt about these children. And what if it was your own child taken to slavery? What would you do? That is the example of loving your neighbor as yourself. The perfect love of God. When we talk about love, and you understand loving your neighbor yourself, and you first love God with all your heart, might, soul, and strength, which I believe Tim Ballard and Jim Caviezel do, and you love your neighbor as yourself, as I believe that Tim Ballard and Jim Caviezel do because of their example and their walk and what they have been doing in their call in their life, they're following out the calling of God. They're loving God. And you know love never fails. Love never fails. And you see this in the movie because he's victorious. You know, it's a question in the back of our minds when you watch this movie, how he succeeded all these years. You know, the movie took 5 years to make, but nonetheless, he kept on in the mission, Operation Railroad, Underground Railroad, OUR, Operation Underground Railroad, which you need to look up and join, that he is continuing this mission, and other heroes are joining him who have the same heart. Tim Ballard is the courageous example that we need today. And people are following him. I don't care what anybody else says. I don't care what anyone else says trying to downplay or bash this movie and bash the actors in any way. You know, we know what Hollywood's agenda is. It's all corruption, it's all perversion, it's all sexual, disease. It's just disgusting what Hollywood's all about. And yet people fall in for it. They listen to the media and they fall for the BS all the time, day long, day in and day out. We're being lied to on the media, and people there's always going to be someone to believe the lies. We know this. But when you listen to this movie and you see this movie, you're not listening to lies. You're listening to the truth. You're listening to the heart of God, and you're seeing these people walk the walk, talk the talk, and doing what God tells them to do. And that's one of my most favorite sayings, quotes in the movie. It's going to be I want a T-shirt that says, "When God tells you to do something, you do not hesitate." That was powerful. That was so powerful and profound. You don't hesitate when God tells you to do something. You got to trust God no matter what it is. He is with you. When you know you're doing what God's called you to do, you know he's going to provide. You know he's with you. You got a host of armies of the heavens with you. And love never fails. Love just never fails. You trust God with all your heart, might, soul, and strength. Just trust him and do what God called you to do. And that's why I love this movie. It's inspiring people to do what God called them to do do something about this problem, the sex slavery, child sex trafficking, human sex trafficking going on in our country, that U.S. being number one perpetrator in this sick industry. There's more slaves, they said, in their research and understanding the statistics, what's been going on. There's more slaves now than there were during the slave trade of our ancestors, African Americans, okay? So it kind of puts things in perspective. When you see this movie, you get the right perspective, which is absolutely what the media and this other agenda going on hates. They want you focusing on racism as if that was the number one problem. Everybody's a racist. You know, call somebody a homophobe, call somebody a racist, call someone a transphobe, call them all these names that have nothing to do with what's really the major problem in our country. You know, this is a disease of the mind in our country. That's what the major problem is. People are getting weak in their minds and their hearts, not knowing how to love. Everybody's so wounded. Everybody is so offended. And yet you got children being raped, sold into slavery. It is disgusting. And this movie calls you to action. So I hope and pray that more people see it. It's not a movie you just want to sit down and say, well, I just want to be entertained. I don't feel like seeing that movie because it's too tough. It's rated PG. Yes, there's hard parts in it, and it made me move to tears, but they don't show you the graphics. You know, but you know what's going on. You know it's heart-wrenching. You just know it. You see the heart of Tim Ballard in the eyes of Jim Caviezel. The focus, the way that movie was portrayed, written, put together, it's magnificent. It's just magnificent. So I just bless them. I've joined their cause. I'm going to do everything I can to support them in their cause. And I just pray that more people are captured and that the Lord directs them to do something about this human sex trafficking and stopping it. You know, slavery, you know you hate slavery. You know it. But it's like you just can't whine anymore about somebody acting funny because you want to assume that it's because of racism instead of your own character. We got to look real and get real. Just got to get real with it. So this movie puts your heart in the real place, in the right place, I believe. So that's my take. I hope you see it if you haven't seen it yet. And God bless you. God bless, and pray for the children, that God's children are not for sale, and pray for our country. Pray that you are examining people in leadership before you vote for people who want to be in leadership, and that we're promoting the right people in all areas of leadership in our country. God bless you.